recently, the Medicines Sans Frontieres C Twitter account has just posted this brand new thread telling the story of Imran, whose name has been changed to protect his identity, who is 17 years old and desperately trying to get into the UK. And it's quite an incredible piece of propaganda because of just how blatant it is that this man, Imran, is a criminal. So Medicines Sans Frontieres, I believe, is just Doctors Without Borders. So they're a globalist humanitarian organisation. And the ultimate message of this thread is rather spectacular. It is literally, this kid will die because he will continually throw himself into the English Channel if you do not let him into the country to scrounge off of benefits. That's not exactly how they sell it to you, but they don't exactly do a good job of making it look any better than that, as we'll find out as we go through. So I thought we'd take a look at this, and you can make your own mind up. So Imran is from Kuwait, and he lived there with his father, and they were persecuted because we are Bedoons, who are a stateless minority. I don't see how this is our responsibility. Personally, I don't think the UK or any other part of Europe should be seen as the refuge for all of the world's detritus, all of the people who are stateless minorities, wherever it is they may be. So at the age of 13, back in 2020, he participated in the Bedoons protests in Timor, where they're saying things like, "We demand citizenship and a roof over our heads, rights," and other, basically. I wouldn't be shocked if, like many of these kinds of protests that you find in places like Kuwait, if it was backed by Western NGOs and was essentially leftist in nature as an attempt to try to destabilise whatever government there exists in Kuwait. But of course, I've never heard of the Bedoons before, which is another one of the reasons why I say, why should they be our responsibility? And thankfully, for once, the government seems to agree with me here. So they were arrested, and after being released from prison, they decide to leave, and they go straight to Turkey. Can't stay there. And they go to Greece, officially in the EU, and therefore subject to the Refugee Convention, which states that they should have to stay in the first safe country they enter into. Greece, I know Stelios is a scary guy, but as far as I know, quite a safe country. But no, then he goes to Germany. Can't stay there either for whatever reason. The AfD, they're just those nasty fascists want him out. And then he goes to France, and now he's in Calais. I wonder where he can go from there. And every step of this process, why isn't he being stopped? It shows him walking with a backpack, but presumably also he was ferried along by numerous criminal organisations the entire way. So why is he here? Why has he been allowed to stay here? It's not just that I don't want him in the UK. I don't want him in Europe at all, because I don't think he should have any right to be here and become a drain on the system, no matter how much of a, look at me, I'm a small child, feel bad for me, give up the rule of law and borders, no matter how much they try and present that as. And he says he lived and worked in Germany for 2 years, but he was expelled overnight. No reason given. No reason given, just expelled. I wonder why that is. Is there any extra context that might be able to tell us why he was expelled? Did he break any rules? Did he do something wrong? Did he commit a crime? No, we don't get to know that. So now he wants to go to the UK, which, like a child, I mean, he is only 17, but like a child, he just assumes that he should be able to. That's like me breaking rules in my house, getting kicked out and going, no, I'm going to live in your house. Is there any reason that I should be allowed to? No, I just want to live in your house. I would feel safe in your house. So that front door that you've got that's locked, just open it. Just open the front door. Let me in. I'm looking through your windows. I can see that you're in. Just let me in. Let me into your house. I'm not going to do anything wrong. I was kicked out of this other house, but I'm not going to do anything wrong. Just let me in. Are you abusing my human rights? I'm going to continually run into the front door and give myself a concussion until you let me into the house. And this is human rights. This is human rights. You would be, in that situation, perfectly fair to not let me into your house. Just to clarify there. So in the month and a half, he's tried to cross the channel at least 20 times. There are refugee routes that you can take that don't involve breaking the law and being ferried across by human trafficking. Why haven't you taken those? Have you applied for official refugee status? Not that I think you should be able to, but why, instead of going through the official routes, the safe routes that we're always so fond of talking about, and instead you've just hopped straight into a human trafficking ring? Okay, but thankfully the border force are actually doing something, which is that most of the time he failed because of the police or nearly drowning. During the crossing attempts, the police intervene violently. Their methods: puncturing boats, tear gas, batons, rubber bullet guns. Yeah, it's almost like you have no right to be here, and we have no obligation to let you into the country when you're trying to break in. And this is just a fantastic look at how these globalist organisations like Doctors Without Borders see it. Saving lives or endangering them. Well, they're endangering their own lives. They're endangering their own lives. They shouldn't be here. They have no right to be here. So we have every right to keep them out. Again, it's like the cases in England where somebody's broken into your house, you defend yourself, and then the government and the police charge you for defending yourself, which has happened in the UK before. It's a ridiculous inversion of what human rights should be that puts the criminal on top of the system. They're the ones who are actually considered human in this human rights scenario. It's absolutely ridiculous. He tried again at the end of October. Why? 70 people from different countries. Oh, but of course, let's take a bit of a closer look here. Oh, thank goodness. Doctors Without Borders have let everybody know in this picture that it's mostly women and children. Mostly women and children. Not Imran. I mean, he's a fighting age male from Kuwait, but thankfully this image lets us know that it's mostly women and children. So this is accurate representation, right? The police tried to stop us again. I can't help but laugh. I know, obviously, my friends died in front of me. We were drowning together. I couldn't do anything. Obviously, people dying is always horrible, but the only people who put them there are themselves and the human traffickers who are trying to get them across the channel. We have no reason to let these people into the country. But it's just the comedy of it, that this is made for children. Obviously, it's already a comic strip, so it's made for children. But horror, fear. The millennial women reading this will be tearing up when they get to this part and say, you know what, screw having borders, the rule of law, histories, tradition, just let them in, because they're feeling horror and fear. And then despair. Oh, I woke up in the hospital 8 days later because I was 8 days in a coma. Okay, well, this should be a fantastic lesson for you then. If you can fit in to British society and British values, whatever they happen to be, surely one of those should be the ability to learn from your mistakes. You've been kicked out of Germany before, so whatever mistake you made to be expelled from Germany, you should have learnt from your mistake, right? Okay, you've been in a hospital, 8 days in a coma, 20 repeated attempts at crossing, not one has worked. You should maybe look at yourself and say, this isn't working, I'm endangering myself, I shouldn't do this anymore. Do you think that's the lesson he took from this? No. No. I want to go to Britain no matter what. There we can live and have rights. I don't want you here. The vast majority of the population of this country don't want you here. Even other immigrants probably don't want you here, either because they got here legally or are from some kind of warring, factional, ethnic group that hate you. So I don't want the conflict that would bring on our streets either. Is that too much for me to ask, or does that mean I'm against human rights? I guess it must mean that. In Europe, we have no rights, and they put little asterisks if you don't realise, the European Union. Well, yeah, because Germany kicked you out. I wonder why. So that's this little thread from Medicine Sans Frontieres C account, and I hope you see just how desperate they're getting with the propaganda here. This is for children. There is no attempt to justify anything that is being presented here as being good or virtuous or a benefit for the United Kingdom. It's literally just, I want it. I want it. I want to live in England, presumably so I can scrounge off of benefits. Is this going to be a benefit to us? Is Imran going to be a net benefit culturally, economically, or otherwise to this country? No. No, obviously not. But no, this is desperate, and they'll keep doing this, and for some reason, millennial women and boomers might still find this effective. I do not. And neither should you.